And we don't run the iron hot. This iron is going to take time to do the job right. Now, if you want to try to set your iron real hot, you're going to take a huge risk in sealing up your base. You always keep your iron moving, and there'll be places in a ski, in every ski, that hold more heat than another area. And what you're doing is you're reading the wax as you run that iron over. Again, this iron is not more than 180 degrees, okay? And this is pink wax. It melts really easy, but I have to make several passes to get it to look liquid anywhere. And then the other thing is, how long does it remain staying looking, you know, molten like a liquid and have that shiny reflection of a liquid? And how quickly does it re-solidify? Yeah, I'm tilting my iron a little bit more toward the edges as I go. These skis have a proper base bevel, so they need to be heated up right up there to the edges, gently and slowly. Whereas a railed ski, that iron would just be riding on that railed edge. All the heat would be going into the edge. And then that will in itself cause overheating issue in the very edge of the ski where we really work the ski the most, and that's where we really want wax to penetrate, right there in the edge. So waxing a ski that's railed is no good, so bevel your edges down if they're all railed so that your iron is not rubbing on that metal edge as you wax. Again, folks, this is a really fat ski, okay? This is called the telly board. I mean, this thing is so fat. So this is, I mean, it's not quite like waxing a snowboard, but you're seeing how long this has taken me at 180 degrees. And right now, this is just the first pass, folks. We're just getting the ski warmed up. And the bigger the ski, the longer it takes you to get it warmed up. And what you got to do is be patient, because you're going to see as I move along. Hopefully you can see the reflections in the video here and there of when the wax is getting molten and when the wax is not. Man, this ski is huge. This thing takes forever. I'm going to slide up a little bit. Okay, here we go. Okay, cord's only so long, and I'm trying to keep the ski pretty much in the screen. Now, you may have seen people do this over a ski and make like 2 laps over it, and the whole thing is completely molten and liquid. Probably, you know, running the iron a little too hot. They may argue with me, but because they're saying, "Oh, I'm not seeing any smoke." Well, that's fine. I mean, you know, maybe it is okay, but I don't feel that it is. Nice slow heating of the ski. Not trying to heat the ski up all at once, you know. You're just spreading that wax out now from the rub-on you did. And if you get a low spot, you'll see it again in your reflection. If you got a low spot, you may need some more wax in it. Generally, as you're pulling the wax down the ski, if you got enough up here, it's going to come down and fill that in anyway. But if you have a low spot, you need to fill it, or you need to take the corner of your iron and you need to concentrate that into that little spot a little bit just to warm it up. Okay, so here we go again. We're going to start from the tip. See if I can pull this thing back a little bit here. See if you guys can see better. There you go. Okay, so now we're going to start all over again. Now I spread it out pretty good. This time I'm going to just work that iron back and forth. I'm not stopping in any one place, and I'm watching that reflection. I'm watching the heat slowly develop into the ski. I'm looking at how long is the wax staying liquid behind my iron. And how quickly does it get cold on the edge and anywhere else? Now if it gets really cold on the edge really quick, what is that telling you? The edge is a steel. That's a heat sink. Okay, so it's going to draw heat out, and if the edge is too high, it's going to hold too much heat in. So edge bevel is real important. And how flat the ski is when you're waxing it makes a huge difference. And some skis have, a lot of skis have metal inside them, and where that metal is inside that ski, for example, that's a place where it'll hold more heat. Now right here I got a spot, it's just not getting nearly as warm. Underneath it, a lot of times you'll see the ski remain hotter where your vise pieces are touching the ski, because that's helping hold heat. But other times there's just a spot there that's got some kind of metal or something that's starting inside this ski. Now once you get that metal spot warm, it's going to hold the heat better. But if you're going to see, when you do this slowly like I do it, which I believe is the best, definite way to do it. Don't overheat that base. Work that wax. Take your time. Let the base slowly heat up so that you're not risking overheating your base. But you need to get it warm enough to open up the porosity of it and let that wax go into it. It's not wax on the ski that makes you go fast. It's the wax that's in the ski. So I probably should have said at the beginning, this pertains to sintered base skis. A no wax base or an extruded base is what they are. You don't worry about wax on those. Those are for recreational skiers that don't really concern themselves with speed. They are going fast enough, or they're not going well at all, but it depends on the grind of the ski, of course. You could have an extruded base with a nice grind for wet snow and it might do okay there. For a little bit anyway. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Still slowly heating this end of it. Working it, working it, working it. Where is it hot? Where is it not? Where is it staying liquid? Where is it not? And trying to maintain a focus on an evenness there, you know. In other words, if I drag the iron over that and it stays liquid behind it for, you know, 10 seconds or whatever, 5 seconds, how long is it staying liquid there? And now I'm getting another hot spot back here. That's where the binding is mounted. So there's metal in those screws and they'll take heat. You want to be careful around your bindings and whatnot. Your edges, you know. All I can tell you, folks, is I don't want to get you paranoid. But it is easier than you think, probably, to cook a base when you use an iron. It's one thing I really like about my Zoom box. When I prep a ski, if you prepped a brand new ski, that's my cord you're hearing. I should pay attention to all these noises. Sorry about that. You want to heat that ski up nice and even and not overheat it. And so hot boxing is a really good way to get started. And if it is done properly in a hot box and it is really thoroughly saturated with the hydrocarbon waxes, after that your maintenance is going to be a lot better. You know, your re-waxing is going to work better, assuming you don't go, you know, 18 days without, you know, then you ran out everything that was put in there. But if you hot box that ski up when it's new, fill that material without overheating it, strictly hydrocarbon waxes. You do not use fluorocarbon waxes until you're soaked with hydrocarbon, and the fluorocarbon waxes are only put on as a day wax or a minute layer, I guess is what you'd call that. And that would only be after you've done this with hydrocarbon. So now we're talking waxing the ski twice, folks. Okay? We're not just talking about once. Okay? So, let's see here. Okay, battery in the cam's still looking okay. Afraid I'm going to start running the battery dead to make these dang videos so long. So, okay. So, as you can see, or as you can't see, I think this is about the third pass. And I'm moving pretty fast. I can definitely slow down a little bit, but again, just watching that wax liquefy and melt, running it back and forth across the ski, tilting the iron in different directions, tilting it a little bit more toward the edge of the ski where I don't see the heat, tilting it more toward the other edge, coming down the middle, pressure down the middle. Keep that wax moving, getting it warm. Boy, we're really seeing some liquid now. Again, about 180 degrees is what this iron is running right now. It's plenty hot. This is a pink wax. A yellow wax would actually make itself molten earlier, and it would stay molten looking longer each time. So the harder the wax that you're using, the longer this is going to take you. And even when I put on blue waxes, which is generally about as hard as I go here for Mount Bachelor, generally don't get into your white waxes or super cold waxes, but now that takes even longer than this, okay? So now we're getting it pretty well warmed up. I think this will be the last pass for this. And we're going to re-wax the ski with some special wax. Okay. Some nice heat in there now, and I got a spot that just, that spot I showed you earlier. It takes just a little more heat in that spot. Now, if you're not paying attention, and you're not evenly paying attention to where the ski gets hot and where it doesn't get hot via the what you're seeing, then that could definitely lead to, like, let's say, okay, boy, I got this one spot on this ski that just freaking dried out. Well, it's a low spot in there or whatever, and when it's being ironed or waxed or heated, it may be, iron is a real physical way of heating. Now you could, so it needs to be touched in the right places and warmed up in the right places. And in all the places. If you got one spot that you're consistently not warming up as well as the rest, that spot is not going to suck up as much wax. If that spot does not suck up as much wax, it's going to get drier quicker. So there it is. Okay, feeling pretty good about this now. Warmed up the ski pretty good. Really a lot of extra work around these bindings on this ski. Boy, it's pretty gnarly right there. Okay, now I realize that some people would have been done with this a second ago, or a long second ago, or a long time ago. And, you know, you get what you pay for, you get what you do. Okay, well, for the sake of the video, okay, I would make another pass or two, but that's about it, folks, okay? So now we got the wax on the ski. We penetrated it in. We've taken our time doing that. And we let the ski go ahead and cool off. If it's a yellow wax, a minimum hour 45, okay? We can talk about the overnight deal, that's fine too. A lot of you guys don't have a decent place to wax, so you scrape your ski off at the mountain to leave them all your ski wax. So I'm not really big on that, but if that's what you're going to do, you're going to do it anyway. So in that case, you're definitely going to let your wax harden overnight, or at least you're going to let your wax harden long enough from that morning to get it up to the mountain. But a yellow wax, about an hour, 45 minutes. A pink wax, you know, let's cut that in half. Let's say if the pink wax, give it an hour, you know, or something like that. You know, and then on a yellow, on a blue wax, about 45 minutes, okay, would be minimum. You really need to let that ski cool down. Now, the ski's been warmed up slowly over a longer period of time. if I put my hand underneath the skinnier portions of the ski up near the tip and near the tail, I can feel some warmth in that top sheet. I mean, it's not hot, but I can feel the warmth. Now where the ski gets thicker and where the binding is, yeah, you're not going to feel that. Now when you heat in a hot box, that even the binding becomes 150 degrees or whatever you're heating to. So, but anyway, okay, so there it is. The main thing is that you've really taken your time. You've run over the ski with a low heat iron, which I will tell you is, I keep saying 180, 180, 180. I'm sure somebody will tell me I'm all wrong or whatever, but that's all there is to it, folks. Okay, we got that. Now, since I am going to re-wax this with another special wax, I'm actually not going to wait for this to completely cool off right now. I'm going to go ahead and scrape her down. So we're going to use a plastic scraper, and sometimes, especially when you're using the harder waxes, just as soon as you're done with the iron, you let the ski cool off just for a minute or two. It can be a lot easier of a time to peel that wax off your edges when it's warm. And the metal edges are not absorbing wax. You know, it's not base material, okay? So go ahead and, you know, this is a plastic scraper. So when I use a plastic scraper, it's just to clean the edges off. Not that the steel scraper is going to kill it. When they're deburred, you won't even feel your steel scraper go over an edge. If you got a steel scraper and you go down your ski like this and it's going making all kinds of noise, okay, let me tell you what, you need a tune, okay? Because I'll even show you right now. We'll take a nice metal scraper here. We're going to run it down the edge. It's carbon steel scraper. Not too sharp, but true. Listen. Oh, that's pretty smooth. That's pretty smooth there, Carl. Because we deburred it first, and it's been deburred and properly tuned. You're not hearing a bunch of clickety-clackety, you know, oh my God, I'm ruining my ski. No, you're not ruining your ski. Your ski is ruined, and you need to frickin' smooth it out so that you don't hear those nasty noises. And sometimes when you're tuning a ski, you're going to hear some really nasty noises. But that's what you want to get out of it, those nasty noises, okay? That's what smooth is. Smooth is smooth and not nasty. So we're going to take the steel. It's a wide ski. Just going to work the scraper back and forth. This is almost like a hot scrape right now in a sense, but it's not really a hot scrape. In a hot scrape, you would not really, you would turn your iron up a little hotter, and you wouldn't scrub the ski so much because, hey, you don't want to scrub the stuff into it, right? Supposedly, your hot scraping is, the whole idea is, okay, all the particles of dirt float up the top of the wax. And when they float up there, then you scrape them off while the wax is still hot and molten. Probably, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to argue about that point. Keep your ski loaded with wax. Brush it out really good every time before you wax. That's going to clean your ski pretty good right there. You don't want you use base cleaners except when you need them. When you're prepping a new ski or at the end of the season, you might want to use some base cleaner from time to time, but if it's used judiciously and properly, you're not going to dry your ski out. Anyway, so there you go. Okay, got it pretty well scraped, and that's fine. You do not want to start running brushes till the ski's cooled down better. You're just going to clog up your brushes with soft, wet wax. Okay, so right now we're good. I'm going to let this ski sit for at least a half hour. We're going to start brushing. We're going to completely brush it out. Then we're going to apply the specialty day wax now that we've got the hydrocarbon into the ski and got it resaturated with the hydrocarbon wax.